My guy, my friend, my brother in Christ. Hand traps or get your traps handed to you somehow. What's going on with y'all, big dog? And it is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! I hope that your day phenomenal. But if it isn't, don't let what happened at the beginning of your day ruin the rest of your day. Today, big dog, since it's a new format and a new me, we're going to be talking about an updated tier list on the best hand traps available. My guy, you don't want to get caught slacking and have your ass backing into a corner because the hand traps, the appropriate ones, you lacking. For this particular tier list, I got 5 different categories here. Must play are the hand traps that you must play if you are considering playing hand traps inside of your deck. Main board worthy is exactly what it sounds like. After the must-play cards, these are really good complements depending on your situation. Speaking of such, my guy, borderline is not bad. These hand traps could be really good in the main, really good in the side, or very specific to what you want, tailored to your needs. Side-worthy is exactly that. I think that these particular hand interruptions are best for the sideboard. And then there's everybody's favorite, oh no, what are you doing, baby? But instead of putting all those words, I'm gonna call it copium, because if you think these are good, we gotta talk. Okay, big dog, so the criteria, it's simple. Basically, this tier list is going to be based on how powerful these hand traps are against some of the most commonly played in top Yu-Gi-Oh! Decks. Off the top of my head, and according to statistics, some of the most commonly played in best decks are Kashtira, Branded, Labyrinth, Sprite, and Sky Striker. But since Vanquished Soul did get second place at the Italian Nationals last format, we'll include them too. With that being said, we have a luscious row of hand traps, and let's go ahead and jump on in. Artifact Lancia, my boy, could be considered quite effective against Kashtira if you don't want them to activate their Kashtira monster effects. That's fair. But the only unfortunate thing about that is that's where Lancia pretty much stops. I don't think that this is a very powerful hand trap right now. One thing that I do like about Lancia for a Sky Striker player though, is that if you activate Artifact Lancia while you use the effect of multi-roll and set your Sky Striker spell cards, those spell cards will go back into the graveyard for you to be able to reset, as opposed to you being banished. So that is a really cool thing about Lancia. My guys, my Sky Striker players, you might even want to consider playing Lancia just because of that. That's kind of saucy. We already know that Artifact Lancia is copium, but my boy, my girl, my zombie, Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring is almost a must-play Yu-Gi-Oh! Card. My guy, you got to think about the benefits from Ash Blossom from time to time. Being able to hit Big Welcome or Welcome Labyrinth or even Branded Fusion is huge. Oh my God, it's almost a game winner. But then there's also the very simple things that Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring can do that isn't necessarily as impactful, but is still impactful. Like being able to stop a Kashtira Theosis, which could prevent the Kashtira player from going full combo, or stopping a gigantic Sprite from special summoning, which could prevent a Sprite player from going full combo. The best thing about Ash is that even where it doesn't have its most impactful moments, it still leads an impact, which could be said for something like this card as opposed to some of the other hand traps. I would 1000% right now say that the Bystials, my guys, are side worthy.
The Bystials be eating, my guy. You go against them light and dark decks, you winning.
Bystial Magma Hut's presence to be able to banish light and dark monsters in the graveyard could be huge against preventing you from getting clapped up by a gimmick puppet nightmare, but it also is really good against rogue decks. It also even searches Bystial Druid Swarm to be able to handle your opponent's board. I gotta give it A-OK for the Bystials all day. Now, I did put the Bystials in sideboard worthy, but I think if you're playing a deck that mains the Bystials, it's still really good because you just catch people slimming and you get the W. All right, Contact C. Shit. Contact C could be an incredible Yu-Gi-Oh! Card if you catch your opponent slipping, big dog. And when we do, we got the blicky for him. We go roll up on him like John Moran. Wait. What? The problem with Contact C is that if you activate it against a Kashtira or even a branded player, if they don't play the out, which for Kashtira would be Donner for hire, And for branded, it would be just playing the appropriate fusion monster. You could absolutely win the game. But the thing is, you are gambling between your opponent being an extremely knowledgeable player or not. I would say that Contact C is copium. To be honest right now, the only thing that I wish that Yu-Gi-Oh players would contact right now is a little bit more grass. You know, just a little bit more. Sword Soul Iris, my guys. You already know what this card does. You negate an opponent's monster and you summon it to the side of the field. Easy, you must play, my guy. Look, guys, you know Dama Mama is the best. Is the best. Yeah. My guy, let me show you something real quick. We're waiting for that day. We're waiting for that day. There's multiple pages of cope here. I'm not gonna cap, I just like the card. Diddy Crow I actually think is gonna be our first borderline Yu-Gi-Oh card that you can play. While it doesn't do well against decks like Kashtira, being able to banish the Gimmick Puppet Nightmare when they try to Albion it, or even stop a Labyrinth Trap card or whatever you will in the graveyard before they can gain full advantage, all the way to getting rid of Sky Striker targets is pretty dope. I think that Diddy Crow right now is in a lot better spot than what a lot of people would give it credit. Cali down bad? Yeah, Cali's down bad. Basically, what I like about DD Crow is that you get the versatility of banishing any card, which can come up, as opposed to the Bestial monsters being only good against light and dark targets. On top of that, again, hitting those cards like Sky Striker, Mobilize, Engage, you win it. Another thing to note is that DD Crow is actually a Stake Your Soul target to be able to get into Mad Love. So there you have it, Vanquish Soul players. Dimension Shifter is really good against a lot of decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Unfortunately, outside of Sky Striker, almost every single one of those other strategies can mainboard Dimension Shifter, meaning that it's matchup specific, probably best for the side deck. Holy smokes, guys. I think that this is the lowest Shifter has ever been, which is crazy. Decks relying less on the graveyard, kind of like how you should rely less on your parents and get a job. No. Yeah, it actually is crazy that we were crying for a ban. Like, I remember players were saying D-Shifter ban. I would personally say that Drolden Lockbird is still a really powerful card, just no longer a main board worthy Yu-Gi-Oh card. Because of the loss of decks like Super Heavy Samurai, which were extremely search heavy, and the introduction of strategies like Branded and Labyrinth, which don't search enough to be able to facilitate Drolden Lockbird being played at maximum copies, it's a risk in certain matchups and it can be rewarded in others. It's still overall a card that you could consider mainboarding. Basically what I'm saying is that this card claps when it claps, and when it doesn't, I mean, it's all right. Effect Veiler is a borderline Yu-Gi-Oh card. Holy, Effect Veiler is kind of down bad. The reason why I would say Effect Veiler is borderline is because it absolutely does nothing against Vanquish Souls. It's okay against Kashtira. Albion activates on your turn, so there's a problem with Effect Veiler. And as you already know, Sprite and Labyrinth don't really care. Sky Striker, pretty solid, but there are better options. Effect Veiler is just a good generic Yu-Gi-Oh card that can negate monster effects, but in the overall picture, sometimes it just doesn't provide enough impact. A lot of times you get punished when you Veiler, your opponent activates Triple Tactics Talent. Nah, that ain't happened to me. Nah, not at all. Fantastical Dragon Phantasme is 100% copium right now, though I do think in the future it could be a sideboard worthy Yu-Gi-Oh card, and it really depends on the dynamic of Link monsters being really powerful. If we do get into a situation where more Cyburst Link decks become powerful, there's actually a really good side card to be able to allow you to draw the out, prevent your opponent from targeting, and get a big monster to your side of the field. Right now though, it's kind of cope, not gonna cap. Hey my guys, look, you're thinking that it's copium, but it is searchable through Magnemite. Let that sink in for a little bit, big dog. But I would still have to say that Cyframe Gear Gamma is still one of the most powerful cards, even with one Gamma and one Driver. Hey, yo, this is still worth playing. I am not coping. I am not coping. I swear I am not coping. Just play 3 Driver and 1 Gamma. That's it. We're in the game. Think about it. You played 3 Gamma and 1 Driver and always drew the Driver. But now if you play 3 Driver, you'll always draw the Gamma. I'm on another level. No, but the real reason why I would say that Cypher and Gear Gamma is borderline, I personally think that decks that don't care about drawing the driver or can facilitate a small world package in case this card becomes useless in later games could take full advantage of Cyframe Gear Gamma, or maybe they're playing other Cyframe monsters inside of the main board or side deck to be able to facilitate that driver, which is still really solid. I wouldn't say that Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit is bad. It still has its moments, but I would 100% say that it's probably closer to a sideboard / borderline Yu-Gi-Oh card. Listen, I'm actually going to go ahead and put it in borderline because I do have a theory. If your deck plays a way to search or add Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, maybe it's playing Emergency Teleport or Jam Dragon Drive, then that one copy of Ghost Ogre could be huge. It allows you to be able to get rid of cards like Kashtira Birth, and also in a lot of matchups could get rid of your opponent's monsters, which could be huge at certain points in time. But if your particular strategy does not really need Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, I would probably lean against this card. It's solid, just not all powerful. Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill. So in my games, in a lot of my friends' personal games, that extra 5 minutes actually did work out. Holy crap, it's almost like if you gave your girl 5 extra minutes, she'd be happy too, but I guess we can't get everything, right? What I've been noticing for a lot of topping lists is that players are like not playing any time winning cards, which I think is good for the Yu-Gi-Oh card game. And Ghost Mourner, Moonlit Chill, or Ghost Sister in Spooky Dogwit unfortunately has to suffer. Hey, by the way, 2 Pump Chumps, or I should call you guys Thrust Kings. You still winning out there. You got yours. Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. You guys are going to be really crazed out where you see I put this card, but at the current state of the format and the decks that we talked about, yo, this is kind of main board worthy. Think about it. You can prevent effects like Kashtira Birth. You can prevent the summoning from Albion. You can prevent Big Welcome Labyrinth from activating. You can prevent a lot of things in this Yu-Gi-Oh card game. The Vanquished Souls, the Rock can't summon. Ghost Bell is secretly a sleeper Yu-Gi-Oh card that is extremely good in so many little parts of the game. That's where it makes it really, really deadly. Ghost Mourner really depends on the situation you're in. It has an interesting relationship with Vanquished Souls, as they do special summon monsters on your turn, meaning that you can negate them, but it has the exact same flaws as Effect Veiler. If your opponent summons a monster like Raisin or Mad Love to the field, and then you try to Ghost Mourner it, they can just chain a monster like Borger to dodge your card and make you feel bad. I will give Mourner a little bit more credit though. You can activate it under Macro Cosmo cards like Kashtira Arise Heart or Dimension Shifter. I think it's a solid Yu-Gi-Oh card that you can consider playing if you have the extra hand trap move and you need more negations. Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. I mean, all right, hear me out. This is probably the highest I'll probably ever put this card. I think it is side worthy, and that's for the players that are completely dog water scared of Kashtira Rice Heart. Even then, I still think that it's a bad proposition. Banishing Kashtira Rice Heart, it's not their only win condition. They have so many other ways to play the game. But then there's the other effectiveness of being able to banish the Vanquished Soul Link 1, which is kind of huge. And you could also potentially banish Albion, which is Branded's win condition from time to time. I'll give it to you, it's sideboard worthy. I still hate this card, thinks it's trash though. So there's that. And for the same reason why Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries is a side-worthy card, I think No Material is decent right now. Being able to hit a Vanquished Soul monster or a Sky Striker monster, even a Kashtira card, that's solid. The problem with No Material is that you have to control no cards, and that's pretty hard to do. Basically what I'm saying is if you're not using this turn 1, you probably getting clapped up, my boy. If you guys can play it 100%, I would probably play Herald of Orange Light. Now, unfortunately, the only deck that I can think of that really benefited from Orange Light is like Drytron and Madolche. So there's your options. It's a main board worthy Yu-Gi-Oh card if you can play it. It's like, it's almost like we had a monster effect negation card that was really, really good in the format. And it got limited to 1 or something. I think Infinite Impermanence is better than Effect Veiler because you can use Infinite Impermanence on your turn. It also dodges cards like Triple Tactics Talent, so that's pretty cool. The only thing that I really want you guys to watch out for is using these effect negators on the Vanquished Soul cards, but against the other strategies, it's almost fair game using these cards when you see fit to be able to stop a monster effect. Pretty damn good. Also, the benefit of being able to potentially lock down a Labyrinth player's back row card as well as negate a monster effect, that's winning. Nibiru the Primal Being comes up short against quite a few decks, one of them being Labyrinth, but where it wins is almost against every other deck in the game. Nobody respects Nibiru. Branded doesn't respect Nibiru. Striker doesn't respect Nibiru. Vanquished Souls kind of respects Nibiru. It depends on what they're on. Most people do smell what the Rock is cooking. They just don't smell it until the Rock has already cooked them. Cypher Guild Delta is being bought out for good reason. It allows you to be able to stop some of the most important spell cards in the game. Think about stopping your opponent's Kashtira Theosis. Think about stopping their Branded Fusion. Think about stopping some of their best cards, Sky Striker Mobilize Engage. The only problem with this card, is that it only has one printing, though I would say it's a borderline Yu-Gi-Oh card. Especially if you get to stop a card like Triple Tactics Talent or Triple Tactics Thrust. Using 3 copies of Delta alongside of your 1 copy of Gamma. You cooking! So Retaliating Sea was actually incredibly good against Pearly, and the reason why is because not only do you use it when they activate their Pearly spell cards, you can also search Contact Sea to help prohibit them, seeing that they wouldn't be able to summon unless they got rid of Contact Sea. Unfortunately, a lot of players are moving away from Pirelli, and while I do think that these are still pretty good against them, there's not a lot of Pirelli players. Ever since they couldn't make Unga Bunga do war, they kind of just moved on, which is really, really unfortunate because these cards were really powerful. Saravis is one of the cards that you would not see me ranking really high. I think that this card is sideboard worthy. There are a ton of targeting disruption cards in the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, and if you're playing the appropriate deck that doesn't like to be targeted, then this is a card to be able to out it and can be searchable through Herald of Arclight. Skullmeister is good at stopping graveyard effects. We're not that graveyard reliant. Hey, yo, though, you can't lie. Skullmeister has some of the best art on a hand trap. Like, seriously, it's good. And lastly, my guy, Token Collector. The token monsters have been missing unless you want to summon your opponent. Token monsters have been missing for quite some time, but yeah, copium. Hey, you guys aren't thought about the big brain combo though. Look, normal summon Token Collector, go full combo. They can't Nibiru you. Also, if you just so happen to get clapped up by Sword Soul every single week, then you probably can mainboard it, but I think that that's just cope. And that's all that I have for what I think are the best hand traps moving forward. The only one that I think is a must play right now is Ash, and that's because of Branded and Labyrinth being played so much. But let me know, what do you think about this hand trap tier list? Did I rate one too high? Did I rate one too low? Or it's something that I missed? Or maybe you want to see a different type of tier list. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Be sure to check out these videos, and I'll catch you on the next one. What up, mama?